Welcome back to this next video. In this series we're going to show you how to make bag handles. You can get really creative with these. So get yourself another pot of tea. I've just made one because mine has gone a bit cold, and sit back and enjoy. We're going to need once again the fork pins, your Sasher collection, and we're going to introduce to you this time the Roxanne glue basted, because I use this when I make all of my handles. And of course you're going to need your iron, the mini iron or your big regular iron, whichever you choose. To start with, I'm going to show you how to make a double fold handle, because a lot of times we want to do a wide handle and then we may want to fold it over again to give it good strength. I've started out cutting this strip of fabric 8 inches wide. I'm going to fold it, turn it upside down so the wrong side's facing up to you. I'm going to fold till this strip meets to the middle, thereabouts. If you want to be really particular about your middle, fold it in half first. Finger press that so you know where the centre point is, and then fold each edge in until it meets exactly. Then with your hot iron, just press the first inch or so. Now because I cut this strip 8 inches wide, it's now folded down to be 4 inches, so I'm going to use the big 4-inch Sasher. A lot of people say, what would you ever use this size for? Well, there's so many things you can use this size for. And over the top and back down. Just poke it on down there. If you find it difficult to get in there, get yourself a pair of sharp scissors or something and help poke it in. This is what it will look like when you get it into the Sasher. Lay it on the ironing board. Take 2 of your fork pins so that we're pinning each side of the fabric and getting good tension on it. Once again, fold it over, put a little bit of tension on this end with your fingers and just push with the iron. That'll just slide on down, run the iron back over it to get plenty of heat into it. Move on down, reposition your pins as you go, because you need those pins to help you get tension, otherwise you're going to have to hold it yourself up this end, you'll burn your fingers. Sit on through, and you can see how fast and easy that is to do. Now to make a stronger bag handle, I'm going to now fold this in half again, and then I'm going to press with the hot iron. I've got the folded edge towards myself, and this is the open edge here. This now measures 2 inches wide. I'm going to use the 2-inch Sasher. And you know there's no right or wrong side to it. And if you're left-handed, you can use it just as easy. You'd just be doing everything from the left-hand side. Come up and over. Push it on down through. Just align the edges. See how I've got my fingers in between the 2 pieces of fabric? Pin well. And then we'll just push with the iron, and you'll notice how that's just keeping those 2 edges level, and then I've got a lovely bag handle made where the 2 edges are together. If you want to take it a step further, when you've finished ironing it, you could open it out, you could cut a strip of wadding, you could cut a strip of wadding, you could lay that in between, and then fold that back over and stitch right on the edge. Then you've got a lovely padded bag handle. And now I've shown you a basic double fold handle with the wadding in between. I'm now going to take you and show you how to do the handles that I've made on this bag. I've had 3 layers of fabrics. Yes, one of them has got wadding inside. And when I've stitched this down, I've ended up with this nice little trim on each side. So I've used 3 different size sashes here from the collection. I've used the 2.5, the 1.5 and the 1 inch. To start with, the black spot, this was cut 5 inches wide, and exactly the same as what we did before. Fold it in half to find your centre, finger press, fold it over and over to the middle. Then we're going to thread it into the 2.5 inch wide Sasher. Just to recap on that, up and over. And I'll be ironing the 3 sizes so you can see how they all come out exactly the same but different sizes. Pin, put tension on the fabric, and that's so important to have the tension down this end. That keeps all the fabric aligned for you. Just push along. Just keep moving along till you get that whole handle done. And you can see how easy and simple it is. Imagine folding this with your fingers and nothing to help you. We'd be really having burnt fingers by the end. So there's our first strip made. The next strip is my check. And I didn't have enough fabric to get a long strip here, so I've had to put a join in it. So join it. You can join on the bias or on the straight. That's entirely up to you. Press your seam the direction that you're going to be pressing when you put it through the sasher. Just set that seam down. Once again, fold this till it meets to the middle. It now measures 1.5 inches, and you can adjust your sizes accordingly. In my book, you're going to see a cutting chart for what size to cut your strips to go through what size sasher. So the maths has all been done for you, but it's not very hard to calculate. Once again, pin with the double pin. Tension on the fabric. Now when we get down closer to the join, I want to show you exactly what you have to do when we come to go over a join. So I've showed you how I've pressed this seam. It's going to be pressed the way that I've got the sasher coming down so it doesn't get caught on it. Fold over, keep that tension on the fabric. Now when we get close to the join, which we are now, if you find it hard to get your sasher to move across that, you just simply tap it with the iron on over. And that just keep going right through till you get your complete strip done. So here we have our third strip cut. This one was cut 2 inches wide, and I'm going to put it through the 1 inch wide sasher. On this one I've put a straight join just to show you that a straight join or a bias join works just as well. Press that seam the way we're going to be pressing with the sasher. Fold it in and in once again till it meets, and if it's not exactly right in the centre, it doesn't really matter because nobody's going to see the wrong side of this strip. It's only the top side, and the sasher will keep it exactly in line and be the same width all the way through. Up and over that centre bar as always. Pin with the double pin. And if you started using the double pins by now, you'll see what a benefit they are to you. It just saves putting those 2 pins in. Push along. As we get down to this seam, we're going to just gently tap with the iron to take it across that seam, take it across the bulk. Make sure you get plenty of heat in that strip because you will learn to move that sasher very fast down the strip. And if you don't get enough heat in with the iron, it might spring open on you, and you don't want that to happen. So there we have our smaller strip made. We've got our 3 strips now made. They're all the wrong sides are facing up to us. The folded edge is facing up. Now what I'm going to do with the larger strip, I'm going to cut a piece of wadding to put in there. You can use whatever size wadding you want. It might be an interfacing, it might be a bag stiffener, whatever you would like to do. So this is measuring 2.5, so I've cut this strip 1 7/8. We're going to open this wide strip out, and you'll see that when I put it through the sasher, it's given me a lovely crease line here. We lay the wadding inside, and we're going to lay this back over the top. So just work all the way down your strip, and there you will have your nice padding in your bag handle. Get your second layer and lay it on top. But before we do that, just please note that this raw edge side, the folded side, is facing up to me. When I put the second layer on, the raw edges are facing down. Just centre that through there, and then I will use the Roxanne glue basted. If you don't know about this glue, it's fantastic. We have 2 ends to it. We have a thick end, and later on in some of my other videos I'm going to show you lots of wonderful uses for this glue. I'm going to use the small end, and I'm just going to run the glue along underneath that top strip. I'm just getting little beads of glue. I'll just roll it back, and you can just see there's just little dots there. Come up this end, over this side, do the same thing, and then I press that with a hot iron. That will set the glue. I prefer to glue this instead of pinning, because I found when I pin all these layers together it just moves too much and I don't get my nice straight strips when I start to sew. So once you've got that one pressed and it's there securely, get your third layer. Lay it so it's centered in the middle. Just align it all up, and then we'll run the glue under the edge again. And you can see how quick and easy this is. There's no fiddling with it, it doesn't take much time at all, and it's just adding a lovely, lovely trim to your bags. Or you might like to use it as straps on a little purse, you might like to use it as a trim on anything. Just layering up can give you a wonderful, wonderful effect. As you can see on my bag handles that I've made here, I've only just stitched right on the edge of the top layer. There's no stitching here and there's no stitching here. So it's only 2 rows of stitching to secure all of this together. And when you look at the wrong side of the handle, you've got a lovely, neat finish. I just find it a brilliant way to make really creative bag handles, to give that extra little bit of oomph to the to your bags. Thanks so much for joining me once again as we covered the bag handles in this session. I think our cup has gone cold again. It's time to make another one and get back with you as soon as we possibly can with our next session, which we're going to show you how to make sashings when you do your quilts quilt as you go. If you have any questions, please leave those questions in our comment box at the end of the screen, and we will answer them and they'll come out to you in one of our other following videos. For anything else, join us at pqw.com.au and on social media.